Alright, hey everybody, this is Scott here again with a new video to help you learn how to trade, invest, and master your finances so you can apply that knowledge in the real world and multiply your money. Now usually here, if you've been watching my channel for some time, I typically post a video just like this every Friday that's basically a compilation of a bunch of small clips that I stitch together that again will show you all the trades and adjustments I make throughout each week. However, now I'm going to be changing things a little bit. So going forward here, every time I record a clip just like this, that will show you some of the new trades or adjustments I'm making, I will do my best to edit and upload that clip in its own separate video within 24 hours of recording it. And in that way, each clip here will be much more current, right? Because again, I'll try to upload them very soon after I record them. And then also each video in itself will be much shorter as opposed to watching a 30 or 40 minute video every Friday. Now, as always, before we dive in here, in case you are brand new to the channel, again, my name is Scott, and I just want to let you know that you can also find me on SKILLSHARE as well, where you can take my very in-depth classes on options trading or stock market investing. And I provided some links to some of the introductory courses of mine in the description of this video below. So be sure to check them out. And when you sign up for SKILLSHARE using any of those links, you'll get a full 1-month free trial. All right, so now diving in here, and just for recording purposes, today is Monday, March 14th. And as you can see here, I did make a few trades today, 2 of which were closing orders to take some profits. And then also I placed a brand new trade in NET, which is Cloudflare. And so let's start here with my Wynn trade. So we'll come to the charts very briefly and already have Wynn pulled up. In case you don't know, this is Wynn Resorts. It's basically a casino. So let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. Now this trade here I had on for a little bit of time, probably about 2 weeks or so. And I did note this rising channel here, which you can see very plainly, but obviously in the very recent future, it totally broke. And unfortunately for me, it was around this time here where I sold a naked put option with an 84 strike. So right around this level, right? Because basically I was hoping that once Wynn came down to the lower end of this channel, it would bounce off it and perhaps rise up to maybe around 95 bucks per share again. So of course, with me being completely wrong directionally on this trade, you might imagine I would have lost a decent amount of money on this short put option. But as I'm going to show you here, I actually walked away this morning with a very small profit. And what I'm going to show you here is the key core component of my personal trading strategy, which allows me to still potentially make a profit, even in cases like this where I'm directionally completely wrong on the trade. So with that said, let's come back to the monitor tab and take a look at the 2 orders I made this morning. And also let me go ahead and pull up the calculator real quick. We're going to need this. And so originally a few weeks ago, I sold 1 contract of the 84 strike put option, like I showed you. And I sold that put option for 410 bucks of initial credit. Now what I will do with my strategy when I sell a naked put option like this is if the stock falls below my put strike, which clearly happened with Wynn Resorts, once it falls below my strike, I will short 100 shares of the stock. Right? Because doing so, by shorting that stock, that covers my obligations on the put option if I get assigned on it or if the stock continues to push lower and lower and lower. Now, this can be a bit tricky sometimes because on occasion, the stock might bounce through your strike. And so in this case here with Wynn, I did have to short and buy back the stock 2 times. And each time that happens, I do lose a small amount of money. But as you saw on the charts there, eventually Wynn did commit and fell down lower by a huge amount. So focusing back on the calculator here, basically, I did end up losing 103 bucks from again having to repeatedly short and buy back the stock. So therefore, from this initial starting credit of 410 bucks, I do subtract 103. And that leaves me with a net remaining credit of $307. Now, as you can see right here with this order, today, this morning actually, I bought back to close that same Wynn put contract, and did so for a debit of 1,560 bucks. So therefore we subtract from here 1,560, and so far that means I'm down by 1,253 bucks. Not very good. But again, keep in mind the last time that Wynn fell below my put strike of 84, I did short the 100 shares of stock. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen on the calculator here, but don't forget this number, minus 1,253. And so the price I got filled at when I shorted those shares was $82.93 per share. So this was $1.07 below my 84 put strike. And that was by intention. And then also this morning, I bought those shares back, as you can see here with this order, at a price of $69.47. So therefore I subtract $69.47, and that means I made a profit of $13.46 per share. Multiplied by the 100 shares, that's a profit of 1,346 bucks. So then finally from this number, I subtract the 1253 I lost from the earlier calculations, right? And in the end, that means the net outcome of this trade here was still a profit of $93. Obviously not a huge profit, but again, if I did nothing to defend this trade, I would have lost so far well over $1,000. And again, this whole approach here of either shorting or buying the stock to cover the contracts that go in the money, this is the key component of my strategy, right? Because as you just saw here, this allows me in many cases to still walk away with a profit on the trade, even if I'm super dead wrong on the direction of the stock. So very cool there. Next up, let's take a look at my crowd order or CrowdStrike. And for that, let's come back to the charts real quick and go to CRWD. Again, this is CrowdStrike Holdings. It's a tech company of sorts. And this one here was a bearish trade where I sold a naked call option with a 220 strike right up there. And I sold that option right here on this day once CrowdStrike got up to and touched this very important resistance level. Right, as you can see right there, the stock tried to pierce above it and ultimately failed. Same thing happened right here. And then prior to that, this line was acting as a major support level. And so this trade here proved to be a home run because, as you can see, 2 days later, the stock turned around in a pretty big way. And that's what allowed me to buy back this contract. As you can see, coming back to the monitor tab, I bought back this contract this morning for a debit of $370. So once again, I'll bring back the calculator real quick. And initially, I sold that call option for $740 as a starting credit. So that means if I bought it back this morning for a debit of $370, that makes for a profit of $370, exactly half price. So very happy with those two trades. And then the one trade I'm not so happy with this morning was my new one in Cloudflare. So once again, we'll come back to the charts and go to NET. And this trade here, I was trying to play this range, as you can see right there. In particular, once the stock came down to this pretty major support level, which unfortunately today failed in a pretty big way, I was trying to play for a short-term bounce, and that's why I sold a put option with an 80 strike. And the main reason why I made this trade was because when I logged into thinkorswim this morning, I saw that I had exactly 0 bullish deltas on, meaning if the market were to go higher today, which for part of it did, then I did not have a single trade on that would benefit from that. And even though I'm very bearish on the market in general, I still do want to have some trades on that would benefit in either direction. So of course, most of my trades would benefit if the market continued to push down lower, but again, I still want to have at least 1 or maybe 2 trades on that would make money if stocks recovered a little bit. And so like I said, for example, if we come over to QQQ, this is an ETF that tracks the NASDAQ, and we'll go ahead and zoom in on this one as well. As you can see here with this candle, we definitely did push quite a bit higher at the beginning of today's market. And so when I saw this happening, and in particular when I saw that no trades of mine would make money if this continued to push higher and higher and higher, that's why I kind of got sucked into it and sold a put option on Cloudflare. But of course, as you saw with my Wynn trade, if Cloudflare continues to fall even more and goes below my put strike, at that point, I'll short 100 shares of the stock and still have the potential to walk away with this trade, perhaps by the expiration date or a bit sooner, with some sort of profit. And then lastly here, just want to direct your attention once again back to the QQQ chart. And this level right here, the support level, is very, very important. Because if the NASDAQ gets below this point, which today it technically closed below, then this could be the beginning of a much larger push down lower in the market. Right, the NASDAQ has already come down to this point before and retested these lows, and we saw a nice bounce off that, but here we are once again. Are we going to bounce from here, or are we going to finally break and push down even lower? Now, the S&P 500 still has a bit more room to fall before it breaks its major support level. And in fact, let's go to SPY real quick and take a look at that. And we'll go ahead and zoom in here as well. And right there, as you can see, this is the same kind of support level that corresponds to what I showed you on the NASDAQ chart. And like I said, there is still some room to run to the downside for the S&Ps here. But the NASDAQ has been the index leading the charge to the downside. So again, if that support level with the NASDAQ does completely break, then I do expect the S&Ps, the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000, etc., all those other indexes to come down along with it. And so with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know your thoughts or if you have questions in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you want to take some very in-depth classes on options trading or stock market investing, then check out my SKILLSHARE courses. Links in the description of this video. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.